Whoa! We are back. We are back. Season 5. Oh my God. It feels like we've been gone forever, Alex. Oh my goodness. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Great Convos, where we always say whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great combos. I'm Roger Caesar, and that gentleman over there.
Hi, Roger. I'm Alexandre Mac. Yeah, you've said it. We are here to have great convos, and we're going to start this season quite strong. We had a great convos over the winter break to determine what would be the focus of season 5. So I'm pretty excited to launch this today. Roger, how are you doing, and how have you been doing?
My goodness, I am doing fantastic. And to all of our loyal listeners, thank you for being here with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, and we appreciate you. Alex, I am doing fantastic. And you know what? I have a little bit of a pep in my step today, and I'll tell you why. Because my beloved Buffalo Bills won last night and are headed to the AFC Championship for the NFL football season. And I am ecstatic. I was there live yesterday, last night. I was there in Buffalo. The cold, the frigid, all of those weather warnings that were given and everything. And we sat in the bleachers and we watched as Josh Allen guided the Buffalo Bills to victory. So I want to give a shout out to Patricia Williams, who was the one who said to me on Friday night, "Do you want to go? Do you want to go? We're going. We're going." And Patricia Williams is the 2017 Humorous Speech Champion for our district. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was amazing. And I did what one of our guests, John Ribeiro, said: just say yes and see what happens.
Wow. Well, that's quite exciting. Yeah, you kept that secret from me before going online. You had your Buffalo Bills sweatshirt. I thought, oh, he's just a fan, but no, he's a super fan. He was there last night. Okay, so that explains this. What did you call it? Something in your step, spring in your step,
The pep in my step.
the pep in your step, as well as I see your eyes are a little smaller than usual.
Because I am extra tired. We got in at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So I am exhausted after the traveling, the traffic, and all the fun, but it was worth it.
Good, good, good. Well, I was able to rest not only this weekend, but over the winter holidays. Even though there's a lot of traveling, it is still a great time to be with the family, going to one family and then to the other family, and being able to rest as much as possible. Because during vacation, we don't need to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to send the kids to school. We can wake up, well, I guess as early as or as late as people let us sleep, because when we're with the family, still there's a lot of noise around the house.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Roger,
quiet time for me as for family and friends. We were it was very quiet. Had a lot of fun over the holidays, but it was really good.
Good. Now, Roger, because it's a new year, it's a new season. It's a new season for Great Convos, but it's also a new season for speech contests. Now, there are different speech contests going on, but Roger, what is your favorite?
Oh, by far, it has to be the International Speech Contest. I mean, I think we know a little thing or two about this competition, right? So I'm very excited. All of the Toastmaster clubs have or will be starting their first rounds of this competition starting now. First and foremost, good luck to everyone. For those of you who don't know, Toastmasters International starts this competition with over 30,000 members vying for the opportunity to be called World Champion of Public Speaking.
That's right. And we both came close In 2021 and 2023, you came in third, I came in second place. So close. But reaching the podium was a great, well, a great accomplishment, but especially a great honor to have that recognition. So I'm happy to see a new season. It's quite exciting. I don't know if it's more exciting to just watch other people try to strive for that title. It's less stressful, let's say.
That's for sure. That is for sure. I think that's the bigger part of it right now is when we sit back now and we look at how much you have to go through to get to this, to get to that top of the mountain. It's a lot of hard work. So kudos to everybody who is putting in the time, the effort. I know you are helping members out. I'm helping members out, and we're hoping that they will advance and get to that level. Who knows? Maybe someone comes out of this area as world champion or in many of the other areas, but whoever it is, we know that they'll put a lot of work into getting there.
We saw the comment from Kathy, who has 2 club contests in the next days, but also who mentions, I love watching the speeches transform in the process. That's one thing that's really interesting about these speech contests. We want to give the best that we can, so we rehearse sometimes with the same group multiple times, and we can see that transformation. It's I love the process as well.
It's fun. It's fun. But Alex, what are we here to talk about for season 5? I mean, everybody is in the chat. They're very excited. They're wanting to know what's going on with season 5. Can't believe it. Wow.
Well, for season 5, as we mentioned in our title, we question everything in order to defy conventional wisdom. So what does that mean? We could give a few examples. What's a good example of conventional wisdom? Let me put one right here. Oh, I know. This one. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's
now, when we say question everything, Roger, does that mean that everything that we hear is wrong?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think there is some validity to a lot of these so-called conventional wisdom quotes, but there are moments when it's not always what it seems to be.
Right. The way I see it is, when you hear something like this, so here's another example: money can't buy happiness. Well, you could ask, really?
Yes.
Well, what about this? What if we really think about it? Now, we could talk about just this one quote, money can't buy happiness. But Roger, here's an idea for you. Let's keep that one for a full episode.
And I think that's what we would like to do with some of these quotes, is to use them in future episodes as we talk to either we talk with a guest or amongst ourselves.
That's right. And by the way, we will have more guests this season. We'll mention at least one today. Maybe we'll keep it for the end. So stay online so you know who is our first guest next week. But for the full season, we will defy conventional wisdom, or at least question some of these sayings that are really popular, that are part of the culture, and that sometimes we say without really thinking about it.
Yep.
And some of the guests will help us defy conventional wisdom. But inside of the season, and I think this might be our favorite episodes, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that we can make when we are speaking, when we're on a stage, when we're making a presentation. And sometimes those mistakes are based on conventional wisdom as well.
Quite true, quite true. And you know what? I want to include our loyal listeners. If you have a conventional wisdom quote that you have heard before and have used it many times, please put it in the chat so we can see which other ones that we've seen and if there's some that we've missed. Alex, you know, it's very true. This is it's funny because a lot of times, because of the fact that we've heard these quotes so many times, we find ourselves just using it just for the sake of it. But then there are times as well, and we will be touching on that in a later episode, where you don't really know where that quote actually came from and the context to which it is. So sometimes we will be defying some of these conventional wisdom quotes and talking about it from that perspective as well in this season. So look out for that.
That's right. Sometimes things that seem like it's from really a long time ago, maybe it's just from a few years ago.
Hmm.
I put this one on screen. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, to discuss with you a little bit, Roger. I've got my particular idea on this. What's yours?
Well, the idea behind it is that sometimes what happens is we get so caught up in all of the things that we've learned over time. And then what happens is if we want to learn something new, we've gotten so accustomed to being who we are that we dig our feet in the sand and say, I am who I am. I've done it this way all my life. I'm gonna just continue. And so they have this whole thing, and the narrative is that when they say old dogs, they don't necessarily mean old dogs, but they're saying in general that we as human beings, sometimes we get so wrapped up in what we already do and what we know and how we've been doing it for so many years or so much a long period of times that we just go with what we know instead of trying to learn something new.
Right. So in other words, you can't change as you age. Now, here's what I think about this. It's where, while it might be rooted in some certain truth, it's also, how would I say this? It is demoralizing, and maybe
Mhm.
even more so as we get a little older. Then we can think, well, wait, am I really too old to learn new things, or
Mhm.
to either learn a new skill, or to develop myself, or to change careers? Is it too late? Is my life already over because there's nothing that I can do to improve myself?
Yeah.
And so you can't teach an old dog new tricks, or can you?
Hmm. I think you
That's the sort
can.
of
I think
so
you
that's the
can.
sort of questioning that we'll have.
I think
Roger?
you can. And I'll just touch on that. I think you can. I think what it is your willingness to change, right? Your willingness to change. And I listen, I'm gonna go from this perspective, Alex. Have you ever maybe coached or mentored someone who is so stuck in their ways that they just will not see a new way of doing something? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, and it's also happened that I've been the one to not accept new wisdom. Yeah. I think that if then the coach or the person teaching us has the right approach, then we can see their way of thinking.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's true. We've both been there, and I'm sure I've had some people pulling their hair out. Shoot, I don't have no more hair anyways to pull out, but they have pulled enough hair out of for themselves when it comes to me. So I can completely understand that. Sometimes we just get caught up in what we feel is the best way for ourselves.
Hmm. we I like this comment from Jackie, who says, excellent table topics. Yeah,
Mhm.
these, like, if you're ever in a setting where you're looking for things to talk about at a table, at a cafe, and sometimes it's a conversation with a new person you've just met,
Mhm.
and questioning conventional wisdom might be a good way to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
And as Jackie also says, great convos keep people connected. Oh, I like that.
Oh, thank
that's,
you. Thank you.
that's a great wisdom, eh?
I love it. Hey, how about this one?
Kathy
Honest-
writes, honesty is the best policy. Ah,
Mm.
okay, that's a good question. Is it true that you should always be honest? Is it always the right thing to do, Roger?
If we are talking about the fact that sometimes it's better, not necessarily to lie, but sometimes you'll have to stretch the truth a little bit in order to make things better. Sometimes that happens. I'm sure that I know I've done it myself. I'm sure we've done it from time to time where you don't want to hurt someone's feelings in some way. So you try as best you
Mhm.
can, like the sandwich method. You know what I mean? You try to find a way tell them, but not tell them, so that it doesn't come off so harsh in the
So
way.
hiding the truth or glossing over it.
Sometimes it's
Perhaps,
you
perhaps
need
this
to
is what
times, right?
perhaps this is what we do with children, more specifically. We can't
Let's
share everything with them because they might be a little, it might be too brusque.
mm,
So perhaps in some cases, honesty will not be the best policy, but I would advise against an outward lie.
yeah, yeah.
Now, just for another example, Roger, if we're talking about specifically speaking in speeches, what I often say will be the truth is better than fiction when you're sharing a personal story. Sometimes it can be tempting to, what did you say, stretch the truth? Well, there's a certain line that I would rather not cross when it becomes outward lie.
Yeah.
When you're speaking or when you're storytelling, if the story is meant to be a true story, if you say something that is not honest, or if you invent so much that it becomes fiction, then that's too far.
Well, I think we're talking about two different things here. I was on the side of when you're talking to someone
Yes.
about something, that there, no question about it. Your stories should be a reflection of who you are, and not be stretched to the point where somebody has to wonder if it's even true at all. Right. So no, I think there is a part of being honest when it does come to your stories in your speeches, because that's how we connect to you.
hmm Since we're speaking about speaking, sometimes you hear this: actions speak louder than words. So this could be true when you're on stage, but also true when you're off stage, and showing an example, right? You're an example for people who are around you, and your
Yeah.
actions speak louder than words. Roger?
Yeah. Yes, most definitely. And I can vouch for that personally. When I talked about my world champion speech with my father, that was what I even said, that his actions spoke louder than the words that he would say. When I looked at him and the things that he did, he showed the true person that he was. And that alone made me realize that I did not see him in the light that I should have seen him in. So a lot of times it is a true thing that, the way in which you listen, let's put it this way, Alex. We can say things and then completely do the opposite.
Right.
Does that now make our words mean something if our actions are completely different? So that's why I say that, your actions also have to, be in line with the words that you say, so that when we say that actions speak louder than words. Well, look, you may be able to talk all this, but can you actually do it?
Right. Don't do as I, what is it? Don't do as I do as I say.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the first times that I really heard that was, I think it was grade 7. The teacher was showing us how to cut. It was probably material. I think we were sewing, and she had taught us to be really careful with the scissors, not necessarily for security reasons, but to make sure that we follow the right line. Whereas it can be tempting to just do one stroke to do the whole thing. So she said, be very careful. But then we saw her do one stroke, do the full length of the material.
Did exactly what she said not to do.
Exactly. And then she turned to us and she said, I've got a lot of experience, so I can do this. So do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. So true. What other ones do we have, Alex?
Well, let's see. Man, I had a list of 20 here. So, okay, I know. This one. Can you read it?
I want to hear from our listeners on this one.
Yes.
Please
The customer.
I want to hear from you about this one.
The customer is always right. From a perspective of service for the clientele, customer service, this is a great point of view to have. If you're serving your clients, you want to make sure that your clients are always happy. So when they say something, even if it's not quite true, like, oh, you got my order wrong. Well, no, that's exactly what you ordered. It's better to say, oh, I'm sorry, what did you order? And correct, in quotation, quote, correct, even if it's not a real correction, and pretend that you were wrong and let the customer be right. Because that is a better way to keep the peace in a certain sense, right?
So Jackie says always. She says they are always right. And this is something that we've learned. But we've got Rob, shout out to Rob Belsby, who's here as well, who says the customer is not always right, but they just want to be heard. And
They want to hear that they are right.
Here they are. My apologies. Yeah, you see, there's different ways of seeing this, and there's a few other ones, Alex. You can go through those ones. Man, I mean, is a customer always right? If a customer is being very disrespectful to the staff, if the person is blatantly wrong about something that they did, yes, there's ways in which we as the service individuals can approach it. But when does it come to the point where you say, no, wait a minute, that's not right. That's not the way you are supposed to be, or your order was completely wrong. That's exactly what you said. At what point do we say that the customer isn't right?
Well, that's a good question. Jackie has experience also with customer service, and this is a good reflection that she asks us. Do you, as the company, do you want to be right, or do you want to keep the client and the business? Maybe, Roger, maybe this will give us perspective. Is it possible that a client who is adamant that they are right, even when they're not, but we can accept, okay, fine, yeah, you're right, until, let's see where that line is, until it has an effect on the other clients.
Right, and this I was literally going to say that. I mean, if a client has become such a difficult person to deal with, do you want to still hold on to that client?
Right.
Is it worth the trouble of keeping a client like that? That's the other side of it.
Yeah, there's so many questions to.
Well, listen, we have seen it from the smallest, and I don't mean it in a literal sense, but the smallest customer all the way to like customers who are grand, that they say, you know what, you're not worth the trouble, and they'll cancel, right?
Right. Yeah, you don't need to keep all the clients. However, a disgruntled client can cost you more clients down the road. So it's a delicate balance that you have to have. But we see many and even more and more videos of either businesses being rude to their clients, or vice versa, clients being rude to the businesses. And there's always these debates that happen, for example, in the YouTube comments, and sometimes it goes both ways. It can go both ways. So,
it can. It's all about how you handle the situation at the end of the day, right? And you have to look and weigh the pros and cons with regards to it, because yes, we are in a digital world now. People can go on the internet and just start tearing your company down if you don't handle things the right way. Right? And that could be even worse. So there is a thin line between how you handle all of this.
All right. Well, hey, Roger.
Hello, Donna. How you
doing? Donna, who writes, the customer is not always right. It is important to prioritize addressing their queries and concerns. So I think, that's the balance that you need to take. So if a client starts being rude or anything, they probably have a question. Maybe it was a bad day. I've had it happen to me. I've been a rude client in the past, and I'm glad that it was not on video. But my concerns were addressed, and I'm glad for it. We've been talking about just this one conventional wisdom for a while now. We could have made a full episode just on this one, but we will have full episodes on a few of them. And Roger, why don't we mention what's going to happen next week.
Yes, yes, yes. I was about to say fellow Toastmasters. We have a special guest joining us next week. Look, we're ready to start this off with a bang, right, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this individual was on the world stage this year, or last year, 2024. He was on the world stage. He captivated the audience with his humor, his story, and he's coming here today. In fact, we were at an event, and shout out to AJ, who is here as well. We were on an event together as three coaches helping out potential members. And
We've
yes,
got some people who are already guessing.
Ready. Give it to them, Alex. Who is coming?
Our guest for episode 2 is Fersi Gotuako, finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2024, and arguably the crowd favorite during that contest. Now, we've spoken about Fersi a few times during season 4 because while he might have been the audience favorite, he might have been also the judge's favorite, but who knows, because he went overtime.
That's right.
And so when you go overtime, it's an instant disqualification. So we're going to ask Fersi, what do you think of this? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Are you stronger after that disappointing finish, or not? So we'll ask him to question this particular conventional wisdom.
Yes.
Fersi will be our next guest.
Well, Alex, we have come to the end of the season opener for. It is going to be an exciting one. And listen, we have a lot of guests who will be joining us. We've had a lot of people who have reached out to us who wanted to be a part of the show. So we have been trying to schedule them to come on. This has become so exciting for both of us. How many people want to be a guest on our show? And we are so thankful, so grateful for it. But please join us next week. It is going to be fun. Fersi is going to light up this screen, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking to him. Alex, last words real fast before we shut it down?
Yeah, well, I see that some conventional wisdoms are still coming in, like there's no such thing as a free lunch. Keep them coming in to the comments, because they might make a title and a theme for one of the episodes of season 5.
Yes.
Roger, sometimes we listen to these conventional wisdoms, and we've talked about this for the past couple of weeks, and sometimes we don't agree on what we're going to say, but that's okay. And why is that?
Because whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great combos.
Well
Take care,
said.
everyone.
Bye-bye.